We have seen too many females suffer some untimely exits. Therefore, it was only appropriate to bring Beth back. I was shocked as to who it was. I can't wait to get into this. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Jury Duty. I am Kyle Petty, and I am joined by the ever so fabulous John Dunphy. And you can find us on the socials at BB Jury Duty. All right, because essentially this is a Big Brother podcast. All right, but we're talking the Challenge All Stars 3. And Beth is back.
Beth is back.
Beth is back. Much to the chagrin of most of the house.
Yes.
What are your thoughts on the return of the Lady Beth? I'm not talking Mac.
I understand why people in the house, a lot of people in the house are like, oh God, Beth is back. But I'm very excited.
You are?
Because I feel like this treehouse is really running things. You've got Kendall and you've got Kellyanne. You've got, a couple people that aren't in the treehouse that feel like, what's going on with this group that's just running things. And maybe Beth will kind of stir that up. That was my first thoughts when I saw her arrive on the beach at the challenge.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know. There were other people I was hoping to see.
Oh, of course. I totally agree with that.
Yeah, I would have loved to see a Laurel pull up. You're talking about bringing an all-star. If we're going to bother calling Nia one, which I'm not saying she's not going to play, but I mean, like Laurel. I mean, like if you want to bring somebody back, that's really going to like ruffle some feathers because Laurel has no friends.
Right.
I mean,
right.
She does, but she doesn't. At least Beth could find a little pocket of some people. Everybody'd be really nervous about Laurel, and that'd be more.
Oh,
exciting. Yeah.
I
don't think people will be flocking towards her. Not that people flock towards Beth either, but
Beth had a very chilly reception,
except for Kendall and Kellyanne.
Right. Which I feel like I understood because they feel very on the outside. But I was certainly hoping for a Laurel or something like that. If Laurel showed up on that beach, I would have actually screamed while I was watching this episode.
Yeah.
But Beth was another person that I had like sort of wondered maybe this will be who it is. When we saw somebody else was going to be injected into the series since we've had so many injuries or other reasons why people have had to leave, prematurely. So.
When they said blonde hair, I was like, is Melinda back? And I was like, no, we lost her because of an injury. She wasn't just eliminated. Like, she, went home.
Right.
So, I'm like, blonde hair? Who could it be? And, Beth was not even, a thought to me. Not even, for a second.
Right.
But there's that. Can we just talk for a hot second, the hottest second, about Kendall and Kellyanne and how very disappointed I'm becoming in Kellyanne with all her whininess. You're really just upset because you're on the outside of this alliance. If you were on the inside of it, you would not have all these feelings. And it wouldn't, it wouldn't be so negative.
Right. The one thing that I will say in her defense is that she had no control over the fact that Kendall put that sabotage on MJ, and Kellyanne has even expressed that wasn't a smart idea. But everyone associates Kendall and Kellyanne together. So, as soon as Kendall did that, it was oh, Kellyanne and Kendall are up to their... It's wait, Kendall did this. Kellyanne didn't do this.
Right, but, I mean... In a game where, politics is part of it, you are who you're aligned with, unfortunately. If we're in a situation where, I find you to be threatening, because you sabotage this person that I feel like I am aligned with, if I can't get you, I'm going for your friend. So yeah, sorry. In a game like this, you are your friend, so pick them wisely. And Kendall is looking like much less attractive meat these days. Kendall on her grand return to the challenge was quite celebrated.
Yeah.
Much ballyhooed, some might say. And I don't know. I think her star might be dimming. That's all.
All right.
Things are not going great for Kendall.
I like Kendall, though.
I love Kendall. I love Kendall. That doesn't mean that we're making all the right moves and we're not making the best decisions.
I do wonder if some of her decision to put that sabotage on MJ, though, was her trying to be strategic. I mean, she definitely conveyed in this episode that she regretted it, I think, and felt like she made a mistake. But when she was making the decision to put the sabotage on MJ, like, it's not like, so everybody knows that MJ and JONNA are super, super tight duo, right? And oh yeah, we'll get into that more, I'm sure.
That's to the end.
Yeah, but I wonder if part of Kendall's thinking was like, listen, I don't want to put this on a woman because I want to show that I'm with the women and we want to work together, blah, blah, blah. And she even mentioned that as a part of the reason. I'm like, I'm saving all the women from being sabotaged. I'm going to put this on MJ. And she put it onto JONNA's partner, who is not a part of this treehouse. You know what I mean? JONNA is not in the treehouse. So Kendall putting the sabotage on JONNA's partner, she didn't put it on a woman. She put it on someone who's not in the treehouse, and yet the treehouse is like freaking out about it. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of a weird, like, it seems like they're just like inventing reasons to like be mad at Kendall. I don't know. Like what has Kendall done to?
Okay.
Like, what has Kendall done to target them though? What has she done to target any of them?
That's fair. But unfortunately, at this stage in the game, this Treehouse Alliance is too large. It's really just Kendall and Kellyanne and JONNA and Naya. Those are the females that are on the outside of it.
Right.
Listen,
that's
if
part of the
I was
reason
in the
that
Treehouse, who do I want? Whose feathers do I want to ruffle?
Right.
Naya. Well, maybe not, because she seems to be closely aligned with Jordan, and you don't want to piss Jordan off for obvious reasons. Okay?
Oh, yeah.
So who else did we name? JONNA. There's your misstep. Although enough with all this acting like JONNA is like the toughest bitch in camp. Like, I know. I'm
getting tired of it.
I really can't take it. I can't take it. And MJ acting like he's like this tough man. Like, I just won't have it. Like, enough now. Like, y'all are not all that. You're puffing out your chest. Like, not that I could do what y'all did. Okay, like, I'm not. And just in case somebody stumbles upon this, like, I know there's no way I could do what y'all did. But y'all can't act like y'all did what most finalists do. All right, that's all I'm saying. That's
right.
All. So enough now. Everybody's acting like, oh, we want to piss off JONNA. We don't want to piss off MJ. Let's not forget where JONNA came from.
Right.
Okay. That's all. Sorry. I know that's really rude. Yikes. I'm sorry. People can grow. People can
listen, JONNA
can stay in the offseason. They can be whatever they want to be. Like
right.
Cyrus. We saw some improvement from Mr. Cyrus.
Absolutely. But
however,
JONNA even admitted herself on this season that she has. See, this is what, and it's funny because we're talking about right now how like JONNA and MJ all of a sudden want to be like, oh yeah, we're these incredible, great players, right? Like,
oh yeah.
JONNA even admitted on this season of All Stars 3 that like I think she was talking about Wes at the time. She was like, yeah, the last time I was on a season with Wes, I really wasn't that great of a player, but now I feel like I've leveled up. You know what I mean? Like in JONNA's mind and MJ's mind, they are like the best things that have ever happened to the challenge.
All right, now here's what I'll say though too. Like, in all fairness, I do think JONNA has leveled up in challenges.
Okay.
She is not the layup she once was. I do feel like she is a fierce contender in challenges.
And I think she's been in the authority. So
yes, and I think she is also but I mean, I will even say that even though I've been dogging her All Stars 2 appearance, I will say that in challenges, like, she really did come to play. And I think some of that is also kind of highlighted in the fact that she now has a partner, or at least then had a partner that was like rooting for her instead of
Right.
always having to work with Zach, who was constantly putting her down and making her feel like crap. You know, morale has a lot to do with it. And
Mhm.
that's where I feel like MJ works well for her. Um, it was just that final that I just cannot sit here and say that, like, you know,
Right.
because the way it ended up going, unless there was an element to this that I missed, it really didn't matter where you placed in that first round.
Right. Right. We were
Um,
talking about this.
yes, like there was no delay, there was nothing. Like, so as long as you were
Right.
just not the last two, you were just equal going into the second one. And like that,
Not cool. I don't like that at
no,
all.
that doesn't do it. No. So those who were in the back, MJ and John A, now had a totally fresh start, as if that beginning didn't happen. Sure, you're
Yeah.
gassed and whatever, it did happen, but like there were some, you know, some kind of, you know, ramifications for having gone through it. Yeah, sure,
Right.
but
Plus, who
still
knows? You
not
know
it.
what? You know what's funny too, like about this, because like you were just saying, right? Like you expect when you finish that first leg of the final, everybody's going to be gassed. But if these are all, you know, these are all veterans. So let's say, you know, TJ came in and said the last place team in this first leg goes home. You might have veteran players that are saying, all right, we can come in second, it's okay. We can come in third, it's okay. Trying to sort of save up some energy, right? And
Mhm.
now John A and you know, so whoever came in first in that first leg, they busted their ass to make sure they get first place on that first leg.
And they got nothing for it.
They get no advantage. And then here comes John A and MJ, who were like, all right, let's just make sure we're not the last place team. Maybe conserve
Mhm.
some more energy. And it's almost like you could be the third place team on that first leg of the final and have an advantage over the first place team because you didn't exert as much energy, you know, potentially, which that's really kind of messed up. Like that's I don't like that at all.
I'm just saying, unless there was an element to this, did I look at my phone and send a text message and miss something? I don't know. I don't
Right.
know. Um, I'll say it's possible. You
Right.
know, I'm only human. I'm only human.
But I
But
think I don't think you missed anything.
I don't think I did either.
Personally, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so that's that. So that's that. So anyway, this week we played high stakes. This is a
Yes.
little game. This is played in multiple heats, male, female heats, 3 in each. Basically, and this I really like the twist around this.
Me too.
This was you know, we love those big brother competitions that kind of like make people expose like where they are in things, and kind of like, you know, in Survivor, you know, who are you taking on the reward? You know,
Yep.
this was the challenge version of that. Um Having 3 people playing multiple different heats. Now, whoever won now had to select who would drop next. So this was played up in the sky for our audio friends. Our audio friends. I guess the video friends, I mean, they would like to know what it was too. Sorry. There's only the audio people who don't know what's going on. The video people the video people know everything. So this was played up in the sky. 3 people on a plank over the water, or over something. I don't know what it was. No, they were over. There was water, but they were over concrete, actually, weren't they? Because they were jumping off a building.
I think you're right, actually.
Yeah, there was water out in those shots, but I don't think.
Yeah. This
Yeah, I
was a
think
big drop. This was a bigger
huge drop
drop than
on
yeah,
on a
because
bungee cord. Yeah,
when they're falling into the water, it's only like a 30-foot drop. This was like a 60-foot bungee jump.
yeah,
Like,
this was wild. This
yeah.
was wild. Um, so whoever won the math equation, whoever figured out what the math equation was first, got to now decide who would drop first and then who dropped second. This being interesting, being that the 2 lowest times. I guess so. Well, that's not the good way to explain it. Whoever had the fastest time, which means that person had the lowest time, right? Because they lost
Right.
first.
Right.
They go automatically into the arena. However, that did not happen because with both male and females, we had some DQs. So it didn't happen. So before we get there, Kendall and MJ were sabotaged. Who was Kendall sabotaged by? KAILAH.
Yes.
It was KAILAH.
Yep.
And MJ was sabotaged by Brad.
Correct.
Okay. All right. So, and they had a 1-minute penalty before they were allowed to begin the math equation. Can I also throw in that Ronnie had a really funny line in this? And she said, the number one thing that I'm scared of is my kids seeing the answer to this equation before I do.
Yeah, I did hear that. Yeah,
Yes.
that
And I was
good.
like, okay. I'm like, I like her because I don't really, I don't know Miss Ronnie.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm excited that we're getting to see some of her personality, and I'm excited to see that she's still around. Spoiler alert. Not really. She wasn't an inspiring one. So this sucker ended with Kayla and Brad winning once again. Okay, which is
I'm not about Brad. I'm just very annoyed by this though.
Oh, you're annoyed by Kayla.
Oh my god, I'm beyond annoyed.
Oh, I'm surprised. I thought that was your highly fuckable friend.
Whoa!
I thought you had it bad for Kayla.
I've been saying the last couple of weeks that I can't stand Kayla. Last week I said
this is the first I've heard of it.
No. I said it last week also.
I never heard it
last week.
I never heard it. I don't know.
No, we talked about this last week, and I cannot stand Kayla.
I don't know what happened. I thought
this
that was your
season
day.
especially. We talked about this last week, man.
I said I don't like her. I thought you were pretty going hard off of her.
No, I had a whole thing about how annoyed I was with her, how disrespectful I think she's been, how she's like calling all these like legends and OGs like old, and how they can't hack it anymore, and this and that.
She didn't stop this episode.
I know. Yeah. I listen.
She's sassy.
She has been now in 3 straight authorities. 3. Brad has also, which is great. Good for Brad. But Kayla has been in 3 straight. And I don't think she deserves it at all. Because in that last week, playing dirty, I don't know if you noticed, the Treehouse was teaming up. They were like really working together, which is, good for them. That's clearly a good alliance, right?
Everybody put Kayla up there. She didn't do any of the work.
Exactly. Kayla was right at the edge. Somebody tossed the ball to her, and then she jumped off to the side. And then in this one, you see her just flipping numbers around. Check. Flipping numbers around. Check. Flipping numbers around. Check. Kendall, meanwhile, is standing there just off to the side with a time penalty, just sitting there, can't do anything. Kayla's flipping the numbers. Check. She's wrong every time, and then she finally gets it right on a random guess. Sends Kendall off. It's just I feel like she and did you hear what she said about Beth on this episode too?
Yeah, how she was an infant when Beth first hit the scene.
She was like, listen, I don't really know anything about Beth because her real world season was in the early 90s and I was born in 1992. So I was like an infant. And I'm like, listen, okay, you haven't done anything in this game. Shut up.
Here's the thing, though. And I am not a Kayla fan, and you know that. However, as you were talking, like, just to play devil's advocate, couldn't it also now be said that, like, this Treehouse alliance, so many of these people have not really, like, worked with Kayla. Like, she was somebody who was coming into this challenge house that I thought would be one of the first boots, mainly because this All-Stars gang is people with, like, deep history. These are people who are, pretty significant to challenge culture, right?
Absolutely.
So Kayla walking into this should have been the odd person out. But as we see, people are not just rallying behind her. They are, I don't want to say sacrificing their game, but they're certainly, I mean, like, by helping her to win before you've won. Does that not speak to her social game? Maybe a little bit. Maybe she's just playing a different game. She seems to have like people like really wrapped around her finger. Like when she speaks in these authority meetings, like people listen. She has really like asserted herself as a leader here, even though she's one of the youngest, if not the youngest, in the house. I still don't like her, but I don't know that she's playing so bad.
No, I agree with you. She was my first boot pick.
Yeah,
she was, but and
I supported it. She wasn't mine, but I was like, okay,
right,
I can see it.
No, I cannot disagree with you. Unfortunately, I wish that I could, but I don't disagree with you because I mean,
Yeah.
hey, there's been 4 authorities and she's been in 3 of them. So whether you want to call it lucky or skill or whatever, she's been in that. She's been safe and part of the group that's making the decisions about who's going into elimination. So it's not only that she's, keeping herself safe, but she's also impacting the game,
Yeah,
which
she is.
I hate to say it, but it is true. And I'm hoping she makes a mistake. I'm hoping she's not safe one of these weeks coming up. Maybe Kellyanne or whoever decides, all right, it's time for KAILAH to feel the heat. Because
For sure.
I just
To
feel
that
like,
point, yeah.
right.
You let her falter just once, and well, maybe not Kendall, but Kellyanne is going to come after her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just feel like here's the thing. I could get more behind KAILAH, and you said it, I said it. We both agree she's playing a pretty good game right now, but I just can't take especially in an all-star season. Maybe I would feel differently on a regular challenge season. But listen, you're in a game with all-stars, champions, people who have made an impact on the game and have paved the way and turned the game into what it is today. Don't stop being so freaking disrespectful. I'm sorry. I can't. I'm sure she wants to come in and be a boss and be like, oh yeah, I can compete with these people, but there's no reason to act the way she's been acting. I can't. I can't stand it.
She's disgusting, but she's always been disgusting though. I mean, that. This behavior is not new. It's just different in who she's going after. She's always been bully.
Yeah,
that's who she is. She's just not. I'm sorry. From what I can see, I don't really know anything about the girl. I look at her for what, an hour a week. I don't know anything about her really. But from what I see, she doesn't play the game nice. That's what we'll say. She doesn't really play a nice game.
It broke my heart watching this episode, hearing Kendall say to Beth, my goddaughter's favorite challenger is KAILAH. And all KAILAH is towards Kendall is a bitch. I'm sorry. I can't.
Mean, disrespect, nasty. Yeah.
Even the way last week they came into that room to tell Kendall she was going into elimination. Thankfully, Kendall didn't have to go into elimination last week. But that way they came in, KAILAH was so sorry, you're going in, but maybe you can get some stars. She was just so can you just chill out? Calm down. Why are you being such a jerk about everything?
Probably because she doesn't like herself. But we're not that kind of a podcast. We're not going to get into the self-help stuff. At least not tonight. The jury's already at the door.
Yeah. But anyway.
But for high stakes, we had some Florins.
Yeah. Seriously, such a bummer for Beth. You just got here.
Yeah, Beth is absolutely just shit the bed. She said, I'm not doing it. Thank you, but no thanks. And following suit was Darrell. Which is a real shame because his ass looked great in that little harness. And I've never really thought much of Darrell and his physique, but on last night, I most certainly did. I was like, what a shame. I would have loved to see that bopping up and down in front of a building. But that's all right. That's all right. God. We did get to see a little. And, well, yeah, Beth and Darrell DQ'd, automatically sent into the arena. Not much to say around that.
Yeah.
I didn't really like that TJ sort of dogged Darrell for that, though. Don't say that's pathetic. Don't say that's anything. That's Darrell. If you want to say that that's pathetic to somebody like a Katie who is always shit in the bed on these heights things, fine. Darrell is a legend. All right. We are not about to give that man any kind of a hard time simply because he didn't want to stand on somebody's wooden plank. Okay, you better leave that man alone. All right, Darrell is the man, even though he went home. He's the man. Okay. So I didn't really like that. Sorry. Misstep for me with TJ. All right, so we already went over the authority. We know who they were, right? KAILAH and Brad, which is becoming authority staples, really. Authority staples. JONNA and MJ, even though that's not the order I put them in, but they are a pair. All right. So authority staples. And then Mark, our All-Stars king. We wouldn't have All-Stars, not from Mr. Mark. And then Veronica. I'm happy to see Veronica at an authority, by the way. I don't think this is her first one, though.
No, she was in the first one, I believe.
I don't think this is her first. I like to see Veronica like really up there, and she's in the thick of it, you know? Because again, she was the one in the off season who said, you know, if they're not willing to pay me what I think I should be paid, and they don't understand my importance to this franchise, then fuck them. And now she's back, and she's winning.
You know, I'm actually surprised. I actually was. Veronica's been in 3 authorities. I thought this was her. She was in the first one.
Mm-hmm.
She was in the third one playing dirty, and now she's in her in the fourth one, high stakes. So 3 out of 4, Veronica.
Is she the authority queen?
I mean, her and KAILAH have both been in 3.
JONNA's been in 2.
JONNA has been in 3 actually.
You better check that fact sheet. Maybe JONNA is that bitch, and maybe I just been sleeping on her too much. Let me watch All Stars 2 again if I keep slandering this woman's name.
JONNA has also that's very so I didn't even realize that, because Brad after the challenge was like, KAILAH, it's a hat trick, and they gave each other a high five. Yes. But according to what I'm looking at now, JONNA, Brad, and KAILAH have all been in the last 3 authorities.
Wow.
Very interesting.
JONNA, Brad, and KAILAH. That's interesting.
Yeah.
I wonder what people think about that on the socials.
Right?
That's half the authority every single time.
Yeah.
Who's your favorite authority? Authority. Oh, we need an A word. Like authority usuals. You know what I mean? Who's your favorite authority?
Authority advocate. No.
We'll talk about this offline. We'll talk about this offline. We don't sound like idiots. Who
is your favorite authority within the authority?
Who is your favorite authoritarian? Stupid.
Boy.
So stupid. Well, the authority says, Kendall and Jordan, get in there.
Yeah.
Get in there.
Get in. Get in there.
Get in. Get in. Hey. Get in there.
Hey, get in there.
Hey, get in there. Stupid. And what are they getting in? A barrel. So it was a barrel that was on the floor, set on a white line, and you had to basically roll it opposite directions. First one to get to their side wins. Interesting little challenge we had here, and I tell you, okay. Well, the women, I'm not really surprised that it went the way that it did. Beth is a bigger girl compared to Kendall. This is not a weight joke. Okay, it is not. She's just built differently, and she was just able to lean into that thing and just roll it on away. And Kendall just off she went like a load of laundry. And Kendall rolled her way out the door.
Yeah.
So basically, we just traded Kendall for Beth in terms of like that side of the outer treehouse.
I'm bummed about.
Let's call them the forest fires.
Oh my god!
The forest fires. So we just traded Beth for Kendall, and honestly, I am bummed about that. I would have rather keep Kendall. Yeah. Even though she made some questionable decisions this season, I would have liked to see her a little longer. If I had my rathers, honestly, I would have rather see Beth play with Kendall. To give them
that's why I'm super bummed.
Yeah,
because we saw a lot of people not thrilled about Beth's arrival, but Kendall was one of the few that was happy, because she was like, this might be another number for us against the treehouse now. Although
I will also say, I'm not immediately sure that Kendall was actually happy that Beth was there. I just think that she saw Beth as a number and as a way to help her game.
Right, but that's what I mean. That's really what I'm saying. It's like,
I'm just saying for entertainment wise, I actually just wanted to say that I don't think that Beth is super. Yeah,
right. But I feel like Kendall saw Beth as a potential ally against this treehouse that's just been dominating. And like,
absolutely.
And like the fact that she came, Beth, come on, just go out on the plank. I'm sorry, God, you just got here. You won't even participate in the first challenge.
That is the one thing that I was bummed about with this. I was kind of hoping that Beth was going to go home, just because I think that's like a funny thing. Like, she was literally here for one episode. Like,
right. Like,
yeah,
TJ made the point of saying, like, you've literally been here for 26 hours.
26 hours. Yeah, if she went home, I just would have found that to be very, very funny.
Yeah.
So yeah, the real showdown came with Jordan and Darrell.
Oof.
Yeah. And all signs pointed to Darrell, and I'm telling you, this is what I was talking about during our preseason chatter. If there is anyone who can make a way out of no way, it is Jordan. Okay. Yeah. I can't even believe it, but I can though, because it's him.
Right.
I mean, he just absolutely gassed Darrell out.
He was right there, Darrell.
Leave in an ambulance. That was his exit.
He was right there. And like, this is like, I don't actually want to watch the whole thing, because I'm sure it was a lot of them just sitting there in a stalemate. But you could see they were there for like an hour, Jordan and Darrell. In this freaking barrel, Darrell was like a foot away, and his legs just gave out. Like, it was just, but like, it's just wild to me, because like, to think that they were sitting there for all that time, that close, right? With Darrell being that close to victory, like, how hard Jordan must have been fighting to think that like Darrell just couldn't get at those last few inches. Yeah. To the point where his legs literally completely gave out, that he had to get out of the bat. He was that close to victory and decided, you know what? I have to leave.
Not only am I going to stop trying, I am getting out. I'm done. Like that. Yeah, that's crazy.
Right.
That's crazy.
And I think it speaks to, and somebody said it, because I forget which challenger said it, but it had been said when it was clear like what the game would be, the competition would be down in the elimination, like people were saying, oh, it's going to be all about weight. It's going to be all about like size. And it proved true for Beth and Kendall,
Kendall, yep.
And we thought it was going to prove true for Darrell and Jordan, and it seemed to be going that way. But Jordan is just such a physical specimen that he had enough strength to keep Darrell from the finish line and just wear him out to the point where Darrell couldn't even walk out on his own at the end.
Yeah.
He held Darrell off just enough that Darrell had to literally exit the competition, and then Jordan was just like, all right, here we go, blah, blah, blah. Like, take it to the finish line.
Just going to roll my way down.
It just makes Jordan that much scarier. It really does.
And that's it. And that is Jordan.
And I what's funny about this?
Nervous.
Yeah. And what's funny about this too is that I was rooting for Darrell in this competition, but I really didn't want to see either of them leave at this point. This was like an elimination where I didn't want to see either competitor leave, from the women or the men.
Yeah. I wasn't happy about any of this. I'm like, I guess I have to watch this. Yeah.
But they were great matchups though, and I really hope we see Kendall back, and I hope Darrell comes back. And it was a great matchup, but these were four people that I didn't want to see any of them leave. Yeah. Which I feel like that's very rare. There's usually at least one person in there.
It's extremely rare. There's always somebody you're like, okay, yeah, I can get rid of this one.
Yeah. Oh, like we might be able to get rid of this person tonight. Oh, great.
Yes. I hope so. No, that wasn't the case this week at all. Yeah.
Yeah.
There was really no good option, in my opinion. Especially with the men. I didn't want to see either of them go home. Yeah.
Absolutely. And it's funny because a couple years ago, if you asked me like, oh, Jordan's in an elimination, who do you want to see go home? I would say Jordan every single time. Tonight, I didn't want to see him go home.
I wouldn't say every other challenge. I mean, in the beginning of me knowing Jordan, yes, I definitely did feel that way. Later on, I don't know. I did start to root for him. I didn't always appreciate some of his behavior, socially, but I don't know. I like Jordan for a little while now.
I've taken
because he makes a way out of no way. It's amazing to me. Yeah, he's
I've
just really
taken
fun to watch.
I've taken a big step forward with Jordan on this season of All Stars.
Good.
I have been rooting for him, and like I know that he is working against other people that I'm rooting for, but this is the first time, like the real first season of the challenge, that I can say that I'm actually rooting for Jordan. I think he's just such a great player. I will say though, this whole thing with him and Nye is weird.
It's so weird, especially seeing
yeah.
where they came from. Like, I don't know. I do think it's a little strange.
There was a lot of talk of sexual tension between them on this episode. I believe we heard the sounds of them making out without actually seeing it. So that's very interesting.
We're definitely going to see more.
Yeah.
So next week, what's happening next week? I don't even remember. I
have a few notes on this.
Do you?
I have a few notes, yeah.
I do remember one thing.
So next on, these are the things that I'm looking for.
What are you looking for?
If you don't. So first things first, TJ said it's time for a shakeup. KAILAH didn't seem happy about it, so we'll see what it is.
Good.
Okay. Also, from this shakeup, it looks like Brad apparently, it seems like there's some kind of team competition coming up from what it looked like in the Next On trailer.
All right.
And it looks like Brad and Wes might be working together, and Brad is very worried about some kind of idea that Wes has. So that'll be interesting.
That sounds familiar.
Yeah. Kellyanne and Beth talk about some distrust they have of JONNA. And it gets to the point, and it might just be from the edit that we saw, but it looks like on the casts, their night out at the bar, it looks like there's Beth sitting with Mark, and who else was it? It was Sylvia, Mark and Sylvia, talking about JONNA cheating on her husband with MJ.
Yeah,
there was some discussion about that.
I heard this comment.
Yeah. And it looks like JONNA might have heard that. That could have just been all editing, making it look like this is going to be way more dramatic than it actually is when the episode comes out. But very interesting, because people are already very wary of Beth. And if she's coming in the first week being like, oh, yeah, JONNA's cheating on her husband with MJ, and JONNA hears that's
really going to cause a problem.
Serious fireworks.
Yeah, it is. It is. The thing about this, though, is that there was already a part of me that was starting to think that. The way that this season has been edited, it's like, JONNA will make a comment, and then the way they show MJ's face, or like vice versa, or somebody says something negative about MJ, and then they immediately show you like a face of JONNA, and it's like, there's something about this that makes it feel like there's a little bit more to this than just. But again, that could just be you being that wishful reality TV watcher. Like, it doesn't really mean anything.
Right.
And of course, like, the show is going to want to play into that because it's fun. But now someone said it. And as we've said before, you cannot unring a bell. Yeah. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see what comes from that. I don't think I have any other thoughts on it, though.
No, I think that's it for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm excited for next week.
Is there anybody you're looking forward to leave? Anybody you're excited to go?
I want KAILAH to leave.
Yeah, and we didn't hear much from him, but I wouldn't mind if Nehemiah hit the pike. I mean, he didn't do anything this episode, and we didn't see really any of them. But I'm always for a Nehemiah exit.
Yeah.
All right. Well, so that's next week at 9:30, right? That's what we're doing. What are we doing tonight? In another 19 minutes.
Big Brother Australia.
Big Brother Australia. And I've got lots to say about that. So I'm certainly grateful to have some time for an intermission.
Yeah.
All right. So our challenge friends, you can find us next week right here at 9:30 p.m. That's it. Find us on the socials, BB Jury Duty. I am Kyle Petty. This was John Dunphy. Gina has better things to do. Thanks for watching.